How was your time out in New Orleans?
Woo. It was good, man. It was like I went to music school for 2 semesters.
Oh, wow.
And
I didn't know that.
it kind of just took the fun out of music, and it was classically trained stuff. And it was, I don't know, too strict for me. So I was like, I'll go to music school in New Orleans and not get a degree, but I'm getting a lesson, you know, and I learned a lot. But it was too fast paced, and I drank too much.
Yeah, that was me, man. I moved to LSU right out of high school, and just too much fun.
Yeah.
Too much fun, not enough music.
But you got to do it. I feel like I had to go do that.
Yeah.
And kind of learn the hard way. And
yeah.
I got to touch the stove.
But I'm glad you didn't go all the way back home and like you somehow found Acadiana, somehow found Lafayette.
Mm-hmm. And it was extremes. It was like New Orleans. I did go back home temporarily to kind of get my next move. And then Oakdale when the pandemic hit, which is the exact opposite of New Orleans, like country living in the sticks, man. I liked it.
Oh, dang.
But Louisiana, man, got my heart.
Sweet, man. So we got Medicine in the studio. You know, y'all are super inspiring, doing your thing on your own and keep writing some killer music and just, you know, really putting a stamp on Louisiana for this, you know, old school traditional music, but with your new modern twist to it. What's been going on and what y'all got going on in the future?
I mean, really good going on. I mean, it's a whole lot. I mean, some days I'm like scatterbrained because I'm like, okay, I know I have this, and this going on, but I need to follow up on this, and this. I mean, honestly, we're kind of booked up towards the end of the year, but every week I have a new phone call like, hey, this is opening up. Do you want to come do this? Hey, let's do this. Hey, we need you here and here and here. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. And kind of with what's going on with life with us currently, I was kind of like, shit, where do I need to put us? Where, you know, because I'm helping him, trying to do his thing too. And luckily, I mean, everything's just kind of falling in place, you know, whether it's consistent work or it's like, hey, this is worth our time. And like, oh, people acknowledge us. They see this through us and we're valuable. So they want us there. So, I mean, currently it's like I said, it's a lot going on, but it's working out pretty smoothly.
Yeah. We got some cool festivals coming up, man.
Yeah.
Can we talk
Go
about
for it.
those?
Yeah. Talk about
Eric Gales, we're not playing probably in close to him, but on the same bill, man.
Whoa.
I just been wanting to catch his set. So
Whoa,
I'm
dude.
really stoked for that.
Wait, which one is that one? Is that one?
That's Shreveport, Eric.
the
Gales.
Red Ravel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Whoa, dude.
I'm excited.
So that festival, I've never heard of it until like this past year, and I saw like the stuff about it. I was like, okay, cool. Let me just hit these people up. And then the guy who runs it, I don't know if he's some of Matt's people or not, but I added him on friends on Facebook the other day, and I say like a year ago. And one day out of the blue, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, y'all shit is killer. I like y'all." And I was like, "All right, sweet, cool. You know, okay." He sees us. You know, he don't like any of our stuff, but he acknowledged it. So I was like, "Okay, cool." And then he sends me a message. I think I was at Hangout Fest when he hit me up, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm calling you like real soon." I was like, "All right, cool, bet." And then he finally calls me. Oh, I lied. I had a phone call from him at Hangout, and you know how spam calls are. You know, it says it's from here, but I didn't answer it, so I was like, "Oh, put it down." So then he hits me up again, so I answer it, and it's like, "Hello," and he's like, "Yeah, this is Hunter," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And so he tells me, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? Like, cool, like, you know, good to hear from you." And so that's definitely cool. And Matt was stoked about it when I told him about it. He was like, "Dude, that is a festival to go to."
It looks like it's a traditional blues jazz fest. Like they got some cool acts on it.
Yeah.
And Bad Bongos on it, I think.
Yeah, Bad Bongos
Wow.
on. Yeah, yeah, they have a lot of people, and it's a whole week long too. So I mean, there's a lot of acts going through. So we're playing the same night as Bonorama. I think we're like second before them. I don't
What's
know.
Bonorama?
Bonorama,
Never
they're
heard
that
of that.
huge. You know Zeta from New Orleans.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so Michael, the lead singer and trombone player, that's his dad's band that he plays trombone with too. They're super cool. They're from New Orleans. Cool. They played the night before us with the Sunny Show. When we played with Sonny Landreth, they played the night before us at Rock and Roll. Nice. Super cool. Been around for a long time. Anyway, we get to play with them that night, so that's be a fun night. But they have music every night for like a week. It's pretty cool.
That's sweet, man.
Yeah, and then we said so Shreveport. So we're at like 3 weeks before that, or 4 weeks, a month, or maybe we're going another festival in Shreveport called Highland Blues and Jazz Fest. It's nothing massive, it's nothing crazy, but we sent in our information, and another guy called me out the blue, like, hey man, I seen y'all stuff, I like y'all Spotify, let's make it happen. And I was like, all right, cool, hotels and stuff, and make a weekend out of it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Shreveport, we never played there. I've never played there at all.
Yeah,
so
I know it's a weird town for sure. I mean, Shreveport, it gets crime and stuff. They talk about that a lot, but they have some really cool music festivals, and I know people up there, they're like, man, we want the South, but up here, So luckily they got the right creative people and directors and making it happen.
Yeah.
Dang, well, I hope I can catch some videos from those, man. Those sound super epic, man.
Yeah.
And that's just it's so impressive to me because like we were saying earlier, talking about Nashville and all this, but y'all are making this happen in this area, and that's, I think it's just knowing your product, and y'all have a good wrap on what service you're providing. But like, talk to me more about like, one, how you developed this machine that y'all are building, and like, how did it come from where y'all started to now, and what y'all kind of had to, what ends did you have to tie up?
I dove into this being like, if I don't have a plan B, then I won't have any cushion to kind of. So I mean, Hunter saw my situation has really helped me grow because I don't have limitations. This is my job,
Yeah.
So the necessity to eat and survive, really, like,
Yeah.
I think it put a fire under our,
Yeah.
But it's also probably not the best way to go about it. Everybody's different,
Sure.
and we kind of learned the hard way, too much, too fast. We're kind of trying to like be precise about how we do it moving forward versus just saying yes to everything. But for a year and a half, we just said yes to everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so we kept busy,
Yeah, I think what lucked out with us was because we were doing so much, it like put us really on the map. Like, okay, everybody was like, all right, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah.
That's a lot of response I got from a lot of people. Like, okay, all right, they're playing a lot, but who are they? And then obviously as videos follow, and oh, okay, so and so invite so and so to come play with us, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, hey, so and so knows them, and they're doing cool stuff, and we like it, But like Zach said, for sure that. That need to keep him busy because he's like, hey, I need to make money.
Yeah.
It was a good combination. But like you said, it's not a proven case like, hey, this works dot for dot.
Sure.
I'll be completely honest. I think we're really lucky. I think we're really lucky to meet when we did, because I didn't know Zach before October of 21. I lied, September of 21. And we actually got put on a bill together through, I don't know if you know Jolene Heather. She used to manage Blue Moon Saloon. And she put us on a bill together, and then we connected. And I was blown away by this dude. Literally after we performed, I was like, I need to go practice. I said, I need to go practice, And anyway, so after all that kind of happened, we got linked up. Very fortunate to make friends and say, hey, like, we're having fun together. Let's keep this ball rolling. Zach's for sure a firecracker, and I had to learn him, but he's a good friend of mine now, and I love him dearly. And so, just like you said, keeping this train has been really, really cool. Keeping it flowing, and people notice that, and fortunately for us, Lafayette has been a really, really cool atmosphere to be like, hey, open arms.
Yeah.
We like y'all. Y'all sound good. Y'all have fun. Y'all bring a good crowd, or a fun crowd, should I say? Yeah. And so it just put us on the map.
Yeah. So talking about y'all's product again, like, and you talked about the need to make the thing happen. How long did it take you to write Heroic Dose, and how long did it take you to build the show that you were performing? Because as a hired gun guy trying to break into the having my own product and my own solo career is just like, I'm finding myself straying back to my old gigs where I'm playing guitar for other people because the product's taking me a while to define and a while to wrap up in a bow. But how long did that process take for you to create this show?
Well, it was when I moved to New Orleans. A lot of these songs started there and just grew and grew and grew. Like, I heard a musician refer to it like a child. and it evolves over time. And by the time I met these guys, I was pretty sure of like this part's like this part's like this.
Yeah.
And some of them are just raw, really. We kind of learned them on stage.
Yeah.
So I mean, not being afraid to mess up at the beginning. Like now, I'm like, I want it to be more precise. Now I'm getting into like, I want parts to the show. But before it was just kind of swing for the fences, look at all the good moments and try to like be okay with finding the good moments within the bad ones on stage. And I don't know. I like the Grateful Dead for the route that they took of like, it's supposed to be imperfect.
Yeah.
And when Hunter and me met, that was really where I was at, because I was always so hard on myself, and I think, was going, I'm tired of being mean to myself.
Yeah.
There's a balance. Now I can come back around. I want to do some parts. You know how like the Allman Brothers would bring out acoustics, and then they would bring out a couple members of the band, and then I want to do more of like, it's a show from start to finish.
Yeah.
But man, just winging it. Winging it was a lot of, and we had another member who was doing, at first we were doing 3 hours, and he was doing about an hour singing, so I could just kind of hang back and play guitar. And then when he parted ways, moved to Austin to do his own thing, like 3 hours was put on me.
Wow.
But I mean, necessity.
Yeah, that first gig without him, like up until we were like, shit, how are we gonna do this? How is this gonna work? And it was at Route 92 in Youngsville. And we were just like, Zach's got it. Yeah, we've got it. You know, it'll be okay. You know, it was kind of one of those moments like, hey, take what you have and make it work. You know, and luckily it worked out, and that was a great show. I mean, it was fun. That's probably our best show at 92 out of all the ones we did. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, but definitely a moment where we overcome what we had to do and made it work.
And just stretch. There's a lot of nights where we're like, okay, we got 12 more songs, and we got to fill about 2 hours. So we're going to take 3 guitar solos, and Austin's going to take 2, just stretch. But it made us better live musicians for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out the studio, but the live, we got it locked because we were just yes to everything. So
Sweet, man. How did you come to meet Austin, man?
Facebook out of that,
yeah.
So thank God for social media sometimes, man. Austin, right before I was playing with this band called Holly Rock, and then we all were the same band, but my buddy would front man and then I would front man, so we would just split the pay as just 4 people. But Austin hit me up one night before we played at Worst Beer Garden and was like, just sent me a video of him playing harmonica. That was it. And I was like, get over here now. This is the address. And he jumped on stage and played with us before we even got a chance to actually talk.
Yeah.
And I think that was good. Like, that's how we got to know each other. Yeah.
So Austin has like that same story with a lot of people. He even hit me up with my old band. He's like, hey man, I want to come play harmonica with you. And I'm like, yeah, dude, sure. Like, come sit in a practice. I knew of him through like his videos, but like that was it. I'd never seen him on stage. And so he came. He drove all the way from Church Point to Youngsville. And he gets there and he's like, man, it's a far drive, man. I don't know if I can do this all the time. And I'm like, I get it, man. Like, I know that's a lot. But, just come hang out, come jam. And then I didn't see him again. And I see a video with him with Zach. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's playing with this cat. All right, cool. And then finally the gig, I hop on with him. There's Austin. He's playing harmonica with us. And then the first show we really brought him back was our first Rock and Bowl show. It was January of last year. And he's been with us ever since, and he is so dedicated. I love him, but he is a strong character. He's very passionate about what he does and how he does it. He's great. He's a little stubborn sometimes. He calls me all the time, like with information or with questions. I'm like, Austin, it's in the text. Like, I text you already. But
he's an old soul, man. He doesn't want to. He's like, I just got to write it down. I don't want to email. I don't want. And I respect it.
Yeah. But yeah,
I watched a Muddy Waters documentary where he meets his harmonica player, Little Walter, I think, for the first time. And he said there was this moment where Little Walter was playing with somebody else, and that was his full-time harmonica player. And Muddy went up to him and was like, "You don't play with this guy anymore. You play with me." And then they kind of got into it, but that's what ended up happening. And I felt that with Austin. I was like, "This is I don't know." He wants to he tells me all the time how he wants to change the way harmonica is viewed, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like to not just play your instrument, to be like, this is more than just the traditional way that it's been used. Like he wants to take it somewhere else.
He's definitely changed it for me. Like,
Respect,
I'll admit that. Like, I mean, harmonica just in general. Oh, you just playing, comes in and comes out. Austin has taken a full song with a ride every segment, whether he's on the low or he's on the high, and he's making it flow with the song. And I've never seen that before. I mean, I know John Popper is his favorite harmonica player, and I know them from Blues Traveler, but I've never seen them live. So I know a lot of his inspiration comes from that, and he's really doing a lot of that. So it's pretty cool.
And he loves watching the saxophone players. He's like, I want this to be my saxophone. I think that's respect, man.
Yeah. Well, does he do the trumpet parts from Superstitious on this harmonica? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he adds a lot, man. And, whether I'm playing with like Bo Thomas or some other sax player, whenever I'm playing with Gerald or the Zydeco gigs, like having that second sound to complement the guitar, and like, you throw them a ride, like it adds so much. And I think with his playing, it's just like y'all are, blues hammer, like killer, like ripping it up, man. But so I saw on Instagram y'all are doing something with KRVS. Tell me a little bit about this thing coming up.
So Miss Megan from KRVS, she hit me up right after we did our in-studio session back in January. She was like, hey, look, UL has cut our funding, not in a bad way, but just, had to cut costs.
Yeah.
So they were looking for sponsors and stuff and ads to run to, say, reach out about my place of business, my career, and was like, hey, would that be something y'all be interested in? And I was like, oh, okay, let me see. Just wasn't up to me, but, try to make it work. But anyway, so I was like, man, I can understand the kind of bind they're in, because they've had it, I don't want to say made, but they've had it very
safe,
very safe, and for this last 60 years that they've been in function. So now they're in this, okay, we really got to work, we got to make this a whole new grind. So I came up with this idea, like, hey, why don't we do a benefit for them, like something just kind of give back. They did really cool stuff for us, without us really pressuring them. We just reached out like, hey, can we do this? They're like, yeah, sure, come in the studio, we love y'all. And they always sharing our flyers and whatnot. So when I reached out to them, it took her a minute to kind of respond, but she was like, Hunter, that is so cool. Like yeah, of course. Let's chat about it. So I went to their studio the other day. We kind of just brainstormed just like the idea of a benefit, and we didn't want it to sound negative or anything like towards UL. So I was like, okay, well, that's totally good, because UL is still helping them out like a good bit, like they're still letting them be there. So they're really still doing them a solid.
Times are changing, man.
Yeah.
Money's tight right now.
So after we kind of brainstormed, figure out where we want to go, we came up with that banner of keeping KRVS healthy. And they kind of went to throw around the idea of like, hey, since it's with medicine, like, can we do like Medicaid or something, or because they're 60, they're getting Social Security, and I was like, man, that'd be hilarious. But I also threw around the idea. I was like, well, they asked if we wanted to be on it fully, like all the time. Every show we would do with them, benefit wise, would be with medicine. And I was like, it doesn't have to be. I think anybody can hop on this, that way, because I mean, with this, we're getting a lot of highlight, we're getting a lot of attention, I don't want to keep that to us.
And get as many people in the door, no matter who they came to see. I just want to see KRVS.
Yeah. This is about KRVS. It's not about us. So, my whole goal is just to help spread awareness. Like, hey, they need help. If somebody here can help, offer that help, offer that assistance, and that's what I want to do.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I saw like Gerald was in there too, and all that. Was that your first time hanging with Gerald?
Yeah, he's a character. Zach didn't get to meet him yet, but
man.
it was fun. It was, and it's funny when he puts on that whole, I don't want to call it character of himself, but when he's in front of the camera, he really has to be hyped up. He has to bring all this energy because when people see him on camera, they want to see this person, and I think that's really cool how we can really tone it down and bring it up. But he's still happy-go-lucky. He's very, what's like Zach. Zach has this contagious energy, and I was like, oh, this would be a great day, you know.
Yeah.
And we got to talking just about normal stuff, you know, and music, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be at the show Saturday. It's him and his wife's anniversary, so he's like, we already got a table, so we'll come hang out and stuff. So yeah, that was cool.
Tell me a little about the show Saturday. I didn't.
Oh yeah, we forgot all about that. Yeah. So the details. KRVS. I'm sorry. Keeping KRVS healthy with medicine and the debtors. It's at Hideaway on Lee.
Oh snap.
Starts at 8. Tickets are gonna be $10, but then a percentage of the door sales we're gonna give right back to KRVS. But KRVS is gonna be set up there. Miss Megan's gonna have her own booth. They'll be taking donations. They'll be having ad sponsorships forms. We're gonna do some auction items as well too. We got a very cool picture that nobody's ever seen of us. We'll auction that off and everything. So I think it'll be cool.
Dang. All right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make it out there, man. That's cool, man. Yeah, Gerald taught me a lot about the business of this thing and how to kind of like, you know, leverage more than just your music and all that stuff. But like, where did you kind of get some of your business background and how you're dealing with medicine and approaching that?
Really, just by learning. I that would probably be the most honest answer. However, so like my boss, Robert Greer, he's a go-getter. You know, he tells me like, oh, like you can do this. You know, he's very motivational. Like you, like this isn't hard. Like you can do that. So he's pushed me in a lot of aspects. You know, like to be like very level-headed, strong-minded. Not a dig, but you know, like hey, you can do this. And so just with that mentality of him, like just through general work, you know, I apply that to this. I'm like, oh, you know, we got a good product. We can push this. We can do it. You know, and once I don't want to say it was easy, but once I seen it was easy to get in or easy to do this process, okay, cool. All right, let's just keep it rolling. Like, don't put any halts on it. And I'm still learning every day, dude. I mean, we had a few mess-ups, you know. I mean, we might have upset a few people because, you know, whether we canceled something or, you know, we just chose not to do something. You know, some people might have got upset. And we still learn from that how to go about that appropriately. Yeah. But, you know, it's music, man. It's, you know, it changes every day. The business changes. I mean, COVID really messed a lot of that up and had a lot of different aspects. Like, how do you work with this? How do you work with that? And it, luckily for us, we just kind of fell into that loop and just kind of went along and figured it out as we went. But I guess the only other people that might have influenced me, Mr. Brian Marceau and Raphael Higginbottom from Alligator Blue. So I related to Brian through marriage. So I've been knowing him a long time. And back in 2019, they were doing some little benefit show. So like, hey, come play drums. You know, just hopped on for a song or two. And they were like, man, you need to be in a band. And I was like, I'm all right, man. I'm all right, you know. And so when COVID happened, I had Eagle Street. I was trying to book. I hit up Brian. I was like, hey, man, like, what do I need to do? And he's like, you need to go network. Network. Go in person, talk to them physically. Phone calls are bullshit. Text are bullshit. Like, you know, and that's verbatim. That's not really what he's saying. But that was the idea that he was telling me. And so a lot of, you know, what I could do if I couldn't get in touch with somebody through email. All right, cool. Let me go put a face to my name. And people are like, oh, okay, respect, you know. Yeah. And he's like, you don't have to be pushy, but you can just, you know, hit him up, you know. Yeah. And things will work out. So that's really him and Raphael really gave me a lot of insight on that.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn how much it's a relationship business and like, you know, especially all this stuff I'm hearing about trying to move to Nashville, just like it's way more relationship based than skill based. I'm hearing, but you know, but even around here, so like y'all are doing this thing, you know, so independent. I don't know how much y'all can talk about this, but are there any new developments in like building your team or like helping
so I think that was what I was gonna say is this, like up until this, I always thought it was something that I had to do all on my own shoulders. Yeah. And then one day, it's kind of just the record label has 30 people helping one person. Yeah. I was like, you can't do this by yourself. Yeah. So we got Matt Ranson, who's like our active manager. Toops Talent, Miss Casey, she really helps us when it's like the situation's iffy, and she can send the contracts, and she can, I don't know, she's a strong woman, man. Something about her, she can get what you need.
I'll tell you that women are the key to everything in the music business, whether as they're like a front member who is pushing the music, or as like behind the scenes doing management. Like, I'm the boss, I got this.
Yeah.
No, this is how it works.
The age of men trying to play hardball in the music scene, some about it's just distasteful now. Yeah, we're thankful for Miss Casey. She can really, she knows how to talk about things that I don't, you know.
Yeah.
And then we just signed with, or not signed, but we're a booking agent. What's that people called?
B Gig. Yeah, they reached out to us. I don't know how they got our contact.
They do a lot of private stuff and like college gigs, and it seems like when someone tells you, I want to book your band, how do I do that? You can just say, here's my Beat Gig profile, and do everything through them.
Dang.
Yeah.
So as much as we can get, really.
Yeah.
As long as it's, what's it called? There's no commitment to only one. I like to just...
Yeah, that's the cool thing with
Keep it
Toops.
open.
Yeah, it's all non-exclusive. So she's like, yeah, you work whatever you want. You know, like it's, you know, and I think for her personally, it relieves that stress on her. Like, you know, I mean, obviously Wayne's her biggest, you know, clientele. But yeah, I mean,
Mojo Booking too.
yeah, Mojo Bookings.
We're going to play a festival. What is that? It's like a
there's
bid where you go play for people to bid for you to go play at their festivals. And
it's the Louisiana Fairs Association. I think it's in Baton Rouge or something.
you can get like 12 gigs in an hour.
Yeah.
And they're all like big festival gigs throughout Louisiana.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Thanks. So do these, you know, these new people you're working with, they see a trajectory for y'all? I mean, are they communicating some of that to y'all? I mean, they like...
So Matt and Casey, they that's their goal with us. They is for them to get together, finalize where they want to see us, and then like with Matt, you know, we have to sit down every once in a while, talk about our 12-month goal, you know, 3-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, you know, because you know this, you know, playing music, you know, you got to be in it for a long fucking time to really have some major success. You know, it's not a like, oh, night and day thing. I know social media kind of warps that idea, but to really be successful, you got to put in a lot of work, and you got to have goals for that long period of time, and understand like it's gonna take a minute, it's gonna take a grind.
Matt was the first person to make me realize I didn't know exactly what I wanted. I've always just been like, well, I just want to play. I want to play in front of a lot of people. And he's like, well, what rooms do you want to play? What size rooms do you want to play? Where in the United States do you want to focus on first? And he asked me all these questions really quickly. I had about like 20-something questions on a piece of paper. He said, I want you to be able to answer all these.
Yeah.
Still can't. I'm still learning. But yeah, just to hold the vision in your mind. He's the first one to really be like, I see it. I keep asking myself why no one's in y'all's corner. I want to be in your corner. And he was consistent before medicine even started. For about a year and a half, he was telling me, I want to be your manager eventually. I want to be wherever capacity I can be involved in this. I want to be involved. And, you know, you hear that a lot. But after about a year of someone coming to every gig they can and saying that, you're like, okay, this person's serious.
Yeah. Wow, man.
And thank God, you know.
Yeah, once he saw us as like for the first time full band as Medicine, he was like, "Oh, okay, y'all got this. Like y'all, you know, y'all know what y'all doing, or y'all figuring out, but y'all on a good path." Yeah. And then he was able to kind of help steer that and stuff, and he's throwing us a lot of work and stuff on our way too. I mean, our last thing was, you came with us on to the River Fit, yeah. Matt's just a cool dude, man, and he's been through it all. He's done the touring, he's done the record deals. And he knows what bullshit is when it's coming out.
He signed like, you know, a label is not necessarily like a record deal. You get a label and they just give you X amount of money and you have to pay back X. It's like a big bank.
Right.
Like I didn't even know that going into it. I had a label hit me up, and after some consideration, I was like, maybe this is not what I need in my life right now, you know?
Yeah.
He's good advice. He's done it all. He's tried it all.
Yeah, and I don't know how many young kids really know that they can turn away a deal or like wait until they have a better deal with more leverage or.
Well, it's hard not to feel like I'm like, was that it?
Yeah,
was that it? I have to be so like, you know, man. And success is defined by you, not anybody else. I have to tell myself that every day.
Yeah.
And success to me is going to be completely different than to any other person.
Yeah.
social media and comparison are
Yeah, I know,
scary.
man. I know. I feel like we're trying to save the world with that good old school music, and like really trying to keep like an old spirited thing like fresh and new. And you know, last time I went to Nashville, there was just so much pop country, so much like inauthentic, like, you know, manufactured art, and like, you know, assembly line art. And it's like, to see y'all doing this thing and then getting to the level that y'all are getting on your own and then coming this way, that's super inspirational. And like, even though I'm not necessarily ready to go jump off and do this thing, it gives me confidence that like I can try and stay true to whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's totally doable. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'll need some help with that too, because I'm just like, you know, figuring all this stuff out on my own, and like
it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of stress, and it's no, you good.
Yeah.
No, it. Some days like it puzzles me, and it, you know, brings my brain to mush, and but you know, luckily, I mean, like I think with the, I don't want to call it stress, but with the weight he has on his shoulders, like, hey, I'm writing music and stuff, and then I have the weight of, hey, let's book. I think it levels out both of us pretty evenly, and I'm glad he can do all that, because I can't write music for a lick, you know.
Some days I feel bad. I'm like, man, I gotta be doing something. I try. You know,
Yeah.
I book some gigs, but he's got the mindset. He's got the organization. I'm so ADD, man. I'm thinking about 5 different things at once. So thank God you didn't. Yeah, helping me.
Yeah. Where do you look to get, like, where did you gain your philosophy from in your writing? I mean, your writing shows so much of, like, you know, who you are and your, how you view yourself in the world. Like, where did you kind of get some of your philosophies from?
I grew up in the church, and I grew up in a church where it wasn't necessarily you were singing songs that were somebody else's. You were improvising, so to speak, the Holy Spirit, channeling, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
So a lot of it was like getting in front of people and pushing that out of your mind and allowing whatever flows out to flow out. So a lot of times I don't write on paper. I write how it sounds and sing it and sing it and sing it until it feels like something, and then I'll start writing it all down. But that church, man, really helped me.
Tell me about this church. Tell me about, like, the area and the age and all this. Like,
I was 11, 12 when I really picked up the guitar and started singing. It was because of the church. They needed a worship leader, and I just liked the music, but I was there.
Yeah.
But it really, I dove into, you know, my beliefs real hard, and I was going to a full, you know, speak in tongues, Holy Ghost church. So it was very much like
Dedicated.
spirit-filled, which the music still
Whoa.
has that spirit-filled.
yeah.
And I learned it from good old non-denominational church.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, that was not the answer I was expecting. It's cool, man.
He still speaks in tongues every now and then. It goes off the deep end. I'm like, bro, he's going that, man. He's
Only
going.
when I'm excited.
Whoa. Well, first time I ever seen somebody speak in tongues, I was like, man, this would be so cool on a live stage. And then I see all these Pentecostal videos of them just going ham, speaking in tongues. And I'm
so
like,
freeing, though.
oh,
I imagine.
it is lit.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a super big energy thing. And I'm like, holy smack.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, growing up as like a shy kid, like, or like a kid who was involved with, like I was around my dad's business and stuff like that, and it was a funeral business, and so there's certain things like you can't talk about, you can't say this or that, and as a kid growing up, kind of figuring out what is you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, you know, how to handle privacy and not, like, when you're a shy kid, you just basically say, well, I guess I shouldn't just say anything. That'd be the safe thing. Just keep my mouth shut. And then, like, I don't know what age it is to figure out, like, there's no rule, like, no one's actively oppressing your voice. Like, no one's stopping you from making any sounds that you want to make or anything. But I feel like more people than they realize, even if they're not shy, quote unquote, that they feel like there's ways they have to behave or ways they have to act, and like there's, you know, a volume they have to maintain themselves in, like they, you know, to shout, to be loud, to be heard. It's like being scared of being heard is like something that took me so long to get over, you know?
Yeah.
I grew up in a household where I was the middle child, and statistically, you are the child that's like not taking sides, and kind of the mediator between a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I played that role a lot, so I didn't feel like was seen or heard sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's all in my head more than anything. But it's a funny thing that I picked up. Music, I think, is based off of kind of that quote unquote trauma I experienced. I wanted to be seen and heard, and that was like the only time. I wasn't good at talking, man. I was born with a lisp and half tongue-tied, so my little thingy goes up higher than it's supposed to.
No shit, I didn't know that.
And so I couldn't say my W's or my R's, and it was really cute for my mom. She's like, it's so cute, until eventually I was like 9, 10, and she's like, yeah, okay, we gotta do. And it 2 days in speech class, and I figured it out. But music was my voice.
Yeah.
When I felt like I didn't have one.
Yeah, man, it's that guitar player syndrome. You know, it's like I wasn't a middle child; I was the younger child. But like, still, just sometimes we put ourselves in the corner,
Absolutely.
or put ourselves in the, you know, in that space. And so it's like music has always been that way to express and to be loud and to like, you know, put myself out there in ways I never did growing up.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, man, y'all got it going on, man. I loved playing with y'all. That was like, you know. It was just easy for me to fit in, and like, you know, as someone trying to do everything on their own, to just go in and just be a guitar player, and in the style that's just so natural, man. I grew up listening to Allman Brothers, grew up listening to The Dead, and you know, I feel like I could put a loop pedal on and just do a Southern rock solo for hours. Like I could just do that all night and just get lost and not have a single thought come through my mind. You know, that's like my therapy, is just like getting lost in a solo, and that's like my minute-long therapy right there. You know,
I'm learning. You really inspired me to call myself a guitar player for the first time.
Yeah, dude.
Because I was like, I'm not really a guitar player. Like,
What?
And all you did was, yes, you are. And I was like, well, if Pablo says I'm a guitar player, I'm a guitar player,
Bro, heck yeah, you are, dude.
Man, taking the pressure too off a little bit, allowing myself to. Someone told me the other day, it's not about the licks, it's about the phrasing, and they said it in a. I don't know. People, you don't need to play down to people.
Yeah.
Like, they want to be able to hum the thing you're playing. That's like how they're gonna remember it if they can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if you're just going,
Yeah.
they can't hum that. And that just changed pretty quickly. That changed me being like, oh, I need to be more relatable with my guitar playing. But you inspired that, man.
I'm trying to remember the first place I saw y'all. It might have been Atmosphere.
I think it was, because
Yeah,
the first time I saw you, you had glasses on.
maybe so.
And that might have been the Charismatic show, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was us and Charismatic, which would have been May of last year.
Yeah.
And you walked up, and I was like, oh, that's Pablo Pilgrim. I was like, what's this dude doing at a show? I was kind of thinking, I was like, oh, this is badass. You know, I was kind of like starstruck. Yeah.
No, bro, no. No, man, that's just the socials. but no, I remember walking in and I was like, you know, sometimes whenever I go see a band and I see a guitar player, I'm like, they left me like, oh, they didn't really scratch my itch. Like they didn't really give me like, I hate thinking like, not to say I could go do it better, but just like they left me like unsatisfied with their solo or whatever. But I remember walking in and hearing you solo and I was like, whoa, dude, that sounds like just what I needed to hear, bro. Like that was like, I didn't feel any need to get up there. I didn't feel any need to awesome. You know, do anything. I was like, you know, even if it wasn't flashy, fast or cool, it was like, that's what I wanted to hear.
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to simplify things in my life right now, as well as the music. I feel like, not simplify it, but just knowing when to go out and when to come in.
Yeah.
Learning that. But thank you.
Yeah, man. Come on, bro. I'm not a guitar player, bro.
Bruh.
So good, man. It's so good.
That guitar was given to me by my uncle, and that's the only guitar that's stuck with me through the years that I didn't pawn or or get stolen or something, you know. So I think that's also a part of it. It was like not almost a decision I made, but something that was just given to me, and I don't know, staple.
Yeah, I can't ever see a day where you won't have that guitar. I think the day that it goes away, you'll be a changed man. So please do not get rid of that guitar.
Bury me with that.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Dang.
Whether you bring it on stage and you just don't play it, just please don't ever get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Dang, man. Somebody's got one of your guitars out there. Come
And
on, bro.
The lady who, right before it got stolen, there was a nice lady who was telling me how her son really wanted a guitar, and it was right after the bad hurricane up in Homa, and I'm just hoping that kid got that guitar.
Oh.
That's what I'm in my mind, because she got out of the car with the guy who was distracting me.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking and he had such a thick accent. I couldn't really understand what he was saying, but I swear in that moment I looked at this guy, and God, I don't claim to communicate with God, but I felt something say, you are about to learn a lesson. You need to stay and talk to this man. You're about to learn a lesson. You're about to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
So I did.
Right.
And I turned around and my guitar was gone.
Oh,
Yeah, man. And I don't know what the lesson is yet. But
Hardship, heartache, yeah.
it's life, baby.
Listen, watch your back.
Yeah. That, I mean,
Maybe
very
so.
well.
But hey, maybe that kid grows up to be a killer guitar player.
I really hope. That's the story I'm going to tell myself.
Hopefully he needed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know guitars saved me sometimes, you know. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
But dang, man. You know.
It was my dad and my brother didn't get along super well, and it's sadly enough. I'm gonna get real. Sorry, pops, but it was because of politics.
Yeah.
Which I think is really sad to
Yeah.
your brother
Yeah,
over
right.
politics, man.
Yeah.
But
Not your
that
older brother?
happened. No, my dad's brother.
Oh,
So
sorry.
they didn't get along at all. But because of that guitar, my uncle would call every 6 months and be like, "Zach's still playing music." And that was they would talk when he was at, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe in fate or if I believe
Yeah.
everything good happens from everything that you go through, but that
Yeah.
I feel like this was given to me and not something I almost chose.
Yeah.
It's cool
Wow.
stuff, man.
Yeah, no, music's powerful in that way, man. What made me fall in love with Zydeco was like, not that my parents were like going through that rough of a time or anything like that, but like I noticed that whenever I started playing, that they would start dancing together, and like that would just like meant a lot. And I was like, whoa, like this is something bringing people together to be close and like dance and like, you know, to play rock music. You know, it's fun to noodle and do whatever, but like if people aren't dancing and aren't coming together, like I'm always gonna want that. Like I'm always gonna strive for people to really connect in that way, and to be a part of that is just, you know,
It's
powerful.
addicting,
Yeah.
for sure, but it is powerful. And like you're saying, when you see people dancing in front of the stage that you're playing music on, you're like, whoa, you know,
It's
and
you're
they're dancing.
feeding it.
Yeah, it's an energy thing, and I mean, it's beautiful, to be honest, you know,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Whether people like to hear that or not, but
Yeah, yeah.
it does a lot for you. So
Oh yeah, dude. I was playing this long gig this past weekend, and it was hot. You know, just getting through it. You know, just another thing. But as soon as people started dancing, I was like, oh,
it's worth it.
it's worth it. And like, I feel 10 times better. I mean, I could do this all night. Y'all keep dancing, like, like you know.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the pros, but also a con part of South Louisiana. Everywhere you go and you play music, that's pretty uplifting. People are gonna dance.
Yeah.
You go anything north of here, and people are
Yes.
like, they don't know. I don't want to say they don't know how to dance. They don't dance. And you know, especially like Zydeco, you'll have a handful of people, but like a lot of people don't dance. And I'm like, damn, like,
Yeah.
I know this doesn't suck. Like the music sounds great, but man, this crowd, they just don't know what to do. But they're enjoying it. Like,
Oh,
don't get me
yeah.
wrong, they are really enjoying
Yeah.
it. They're there to listen, you know. But that it's a culture shock, to be honest, to
Yeah.
be here in the heart of Zydeco music,
Yeah.
and then just go just a few minutes north, and you're like,
Yeah.
it was rough.
I remember my first experience with that, man. I was 19 playing with Buckwheat Jr. We drove 22 hours to North Carolina, and
Wait, 22 hours to North Carolina?
yeah, we were two cars. We
Okay.
were two vehicles, so it kind of took us a little longer.
Yeah.
But we get there and we play the show, and it's a Zydeco show, right? But there's just chairs everywhere. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then like, yeah, you just had a crowd of very white people just watching every move you made, and I was like, this is very different than what I'm used to. And I was just like, kind of double checking, making sure that they were into it, or like that I was playing well, or that we sounded good. I'm like, do we sound good? Yeah, it's just like they're just watching intently. And after the show, I got so many questions, got so many like, what guitar, what pedals, like what, like they were just music lovers.
Yeah.
But their relationship is just different than we got down here.
It almost like comes to me that like you're almost like an exhibit. And they're at a zoo almost, and they're there, and they're super curious, and they want to know about you, and they enjoy it. But like here, they're feeling it. Over there, they're watching you. They're
studying.
Yeah,
they're studying. Yeah, and like over here, it's like we provide a service.
Yeah,
we're much more like I don't know, but point being, like we work for them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was playing with Horace, and there was this lady comes up. I say this story all the time, but like she comes up to the bandstand. She tells Horace, like, Horace, we don't want any of this slow stuff. Come on, we want to move. Like, come on, man. And I was like, dang, she just told Horace Strong, like, this is her gig. Like, this is her. Like, and she's just some lady dancing. Like, she didn't pay Horace or nothing, but she's like, that's how they feel. It's like they're just buddies with Horace, and like they just have an equal relationship, but he's just a part of the dance in the same way, and it's like a shared experience.
Yeah,
that's how the Grateful Dead views it. They say that the crowd plays them.
Yeah,
while they play to the crowd. I really like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm singing, if I hear someone go woo, it like sends a jolt through my body, man. Like for real.
Yeah,
I like that picture.
Yeah. What have been some of your favorite places to play around here?
You can say it.
No, you can say it.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I guess like
rock and roll.
I guess part of me too, like, it's the name for me, really. Like, but it's a really, really cool venue, and the atmosphere there from everybody involved, I think that's what really just sets a really high bar for that place. It's very wholesome. Larry and Mr. Johnny and all those guys, dude, they're so cool, man. I mean, and I think what really just, for me personally, when we played there the first time, and then for them to come up, well, we went over the set list too. Like, so we were supposed to play till like 10:30, 10. We played till almost midnight on a Thursday night. And I went after, and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry we kept playing. They were like, no, dude, that was great. Because there's still a crowd. People were still drinking. People were still having fun. Yeah. But they were super, super excited and had so much fun for our music. And I guess I just never got that kind of attention before from a venue owner. So that's like, it just stuck with me. I was like, damn, okay, I think we are doing something good, because I really didn't know what to expect. It was a door gig, it was one of our first shows in Lafayette, like fully as Medicine. So for them, that, even in our mind, we already set them high at that point, but for them to really match it and be like, hey, you guys are good. Like, I think that just really set in stone, like, this is our favorite spot. Yeah. And plus you get to go bowling, Yeah. But
I dig me some Hideaway on Lee, man.
Oh yeah.
Some of my favorite shows have been there, and I think it's because the dance floor is a little bit smaller. Yeah. So if you get about 20, 30 people on the dance floor, it's packed. Yeah. It's like fun, man. Fun.
I mean, that's like any small stage in Lafayette, especially Blue Moon. I mean, those sets can get super intimate. Yeah. And I know, like, especially like the Deaders love those really close up, personal, intimate sets. And that's fun, especially when it's a packed house. You not only do you feel it, but you see their energy in their face, and you see them smiling, you see them having a blast, and that's super cool, very fun to experience, and that's another one that's very, very addicting. You try to do that every weekend. But it's hard. It's any small stage in Lafayette's really fun.
Yeah. Now I know they have new management now, but me and my girl's favorite place to see y'all was Armosphere, man. That was so intimate, and like the sound was so big, and like, whatever it might have been on y'all's end, I don't know how complicated or whatnot, but like for us, it was just like the vibe in Armosphere is always so like, you don't know what to expect. And like you don't know what characters are gonna walk in. So it's like the vibe is so like underground, and like y'all come in here with big giant loud mix, and it's like for some reason it hit real good a couple times that we did see you there. So that's some of our favorite places.
Dang,
but
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
But yeah, that was definitely a good sound for y'all. But
Which was that the Nether Hour show?
the other hour was cool, but then also just y'all.
Okay.
I forget. You might have had like
Oh, was that Deltaphonic that played with us?
that too. Oh, y'all been there a couple times, but
We haven't played there in a minute. Did we play there this year?
Yeah, we did. Benefit
We
over there.
no, we did Lundy Girl. Lundy
Yeah.
Girl was our last technically medicine show, even though we didn't have everybody on stage with us. It was a super jam. Everybody came play. You can play with us and stuff. Yeah. I think that was the last one there. But yeah, that's new management and stuff, and it's definitely it's a cool venue.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say, but I know that place has always struggled with
Yeah.
with where it's at location wise and parking and
Sure.
whatnot. But it's a really cool venue. It's really fun. You can really have an experience there. And when we started playing there, first Zach was like, we need to make this like festivals. Get every vendor we can hit up. And so that for us, that's how we could get obviously if you get 20 vendors on here, they're gonna be sharing your posts, they're gonna be hanging out, they're gonna have fun. You let them in for free, but they have a blast, and you make new fans, and then they like you, and they're like, hey, they support us, we support them, and it's definitely the spot to set up like that because you have that whole outdoor patio area, and it can be really cool and really fun.
Yeah.
Man, I want to do more underground shows. I wish we had a spot we could just rent out, and it could be like musicians can rent out the space and charge the ticket themselves. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess venues do work like that.
Yeah.
But something.
We should rent out an old VFW and like or a Woodman House or something, Woman of the World. Those would be pretty cool to
'Cause
like.
I was inspired by your Horace podcast where he was talking about back in the day
Right.
when you listened to the cart, which direction, and that was where the music was.
Right.
And it was to like forget about the trouble.
Right.
And it was really wholesome
Yeah.
to think about, like, there was no money exchange really unless you were hungry or you wanted some beer, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, even back in the day, so it's like everyone's farming, everyone's doing whatever, and then they just hear the accordion off in the distance, and like they're like, okay, we're gonna go migrate. Everyone just ends up in the same place. It's like there was no post, there was no, like newsletter that went out. Everyone ended up in the same place.
I wish something like that existed in Lafayette still, man.
Can you imagine just like how massive that has to be, that idea, like the fact that you hear stuff in the distance, like, oh shit, hey, music's here, we're going, come on, y'all, and as you're passing houses, hey man, we're going to the music. Oh, it's tonight? Yeah, dude, it's tonight, we're going. And I mean, you have no idea that it's happening unless you heard it. I mean, to me, that's crazy, man. Like that, but that is so cool. And like,
the world used to be simpler.
yeah, dude. Now you got to put 10 posts out that you're playing at this venue. You're lucky if the algorithms, help you out. Then you're lucky if the venue's posting about it. And then it's like, you got so much working against you. And, them is just like, hey, just start playing, man. Don't worry. They'll flock to us.
Yeah.
It was freedom. Hey, you want to feel free? Here's where the music's at.
Yeah,
and I think, I don't know.
Yeah, there might be some spots you can do that, man. They used to, way back in the day, I was, I don't know if you remember this, but they had like this little alley that you'd go behind in downtown Jefferson Street. They had an alley kind of near where like Flats Burgers is now, where Tula Taco used to be.
Okay.
You'd go back this alley, and they'd have these like punk underground shows just in this back.
Never heard of that.
This back alley, man. And, my sister used to take me when we were younger. And, I'm not sure what the deals were like with the venue, because I guess the restaurant owned it or whatever, but I do know that it was like, basically you just heard the music walking by and it coming out of nowhere, and you're like, what? And it's just like a little wooden door, and somebody there like charging cover and stuff, and it's like, if we had like the back of some restaurant or just some little space downtown where you just got to rent it out, you could probably do something like that and have an independently put on event. And Hideaway's pretty good about letting you get the door and all that, but like dealing with venues just becomes so difficult sometimes, and it's like it'd be cool to have a space for that.
And there's so many moving parts, and there's so much that it needs to be more than a show is something I'm also recognizing. People have been to a million shows. It needs to be an experience.
Yeah.
And because of my situation where this was my career, I was focused on shows.
Yeah.
I wasn't as focused on experience. And as we're maturing as a band, that's where I want to take it. And it'd be cool to have a place. In New Orleans, it was like that, where it didn't matter if you had a gig. The first year of me being there, I couldn't book that many gigs because there's so much competition. But there was this place called D-Max Bar and Grill, and they always took me in at about 1:30 at night. When the other band would get off stage, me and my buddies would show up and be like, y'all got a band? And they'd be like, no. And if we kept people around, they would end up throwing us a little cash too. So it was always like a safe haven.
Wow.
And
Yeah, I've been to D-Max one time, yeah. Saw
Man,
some cool Loyola cats.
It's a funny place, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It was wild. The first time we went there, what's his name? Bradley. Dude's throwing off fireworks in the middle of the parking lot, right in front of the entrance. You know, he's like, "Hey, you want to watch the roaches fly? Watch." He throws, does a big old firework, goes off. That was that? I think it was our first show there.
My first time ever in New Orleans, same place, pulled up to D-Max to play a little acoustic gig when I didn't even know what I was doing. And I just got done playing. I walk out on the street and this lady crashed into a light pole. The light pole came down on the ground. Her engine is out of the car. Whoa. I run over there because she's trying to start it over and over again. And I feel like something's going to blow up. I'm like, stop trying to start your car. And she pulled out a gun. Whoa. And was like, I'm not going back to jail.
Oh, my God.
And I ran inside the bar and yelled, oh my God. Gun. Everybody ran outside the back. A separate police chase was happening, and I'm running around, and the cops see me, so they drew down on me. And I was like, I'm not who you want. It's that lady. And they didn't even know what I was talking about, but they ran towards the lady. Whoa. That was not even 2 hours into New Orleans for the first time.
Oh, my God. Dude, that is wild.
Like, I should move here. This is awesome.
I love the city, yeah.
Oh, my God.
The last time we played at D-Max, that lady that was trying to pour beer on some of the guys that are out there, and so they had a little argument brawl. Security guard chases her off. Finally, at the end of the night, she's running back again. She's chasing Zach and Emily. Here comes the security guard with his baton, freaking whacks her on the head. He's like, "Go, shoo, get out of here!" And I was like, "This place is too crazy. This is wild. It's fun, but it's too wild."
Oh my God!
The most beautiful art, and some of this like darkness and light in very visible ways. It's intense, but it's I feel like some people thrive in that situation. I don't know, it's hard looking at stuff like that every day and pretending like it wasn't there. I can't do that.
I
don't know,
it's a wicked city.
But
very wicked.
It's addicting.
Las Vegas gave me that feeling too. I went to Las Vegas and it's just a dark city. You can feel this dark, addicted, hungover energy just throughout the whole place, and it's like, yo, my soul like feels this. It's like, I can't believe how crazy this is. Like,
you went there for a show, huh?
Yeah.
And were you on for like Fremont Street and stuff, or
we played Michelob Ultra Arena.
Okay, so like the few times I went, we always go there in the morning because, like you're saying, it's hungover. I mean, you got some people who were in those casinos for 24, 48 hours, you know.
Windows,
that is way too long, man. And
hook them up the tubes.
Yeah, dude. But anytime we went on the strip, it was very first thing in the morning because, like, I knew I didn't want to be around any of that. And then going back to the hotel, if we stayed at one of the casinos on the strip, it was like 8 o'clock, you know, and I'm going to bed after I've been out all day. And, yeah, it's not something you want to get suckered into because it's, like you said, it's crazy.
Yeah, dude. New Orleans is like that too, man. It's got some dark energy, but, you know, I guess you need some of that for, and I guess any big city is going to have some like a mix of characters and a mix of energies, but like New Orleans definitely seems to breed some creativity.
It's great for songwriting.
Yeah.
It's great for songwriting.
Yeah. Just talk about what you saw on the day. And
my buddy Charlie Murray taught me this, but he writes out a track list before he writes any of the songs. And so you just kind of throughout the night write tracks, like names of songs that don't exist yet, and that kind of helps when you got a lot of characters and you got a lot of stuff. Pay Your Homage was written in New Orleans, driving around right when everybody left because summer was starting. I think everybody leaves during the summer.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody,
Sure.
but no, it's winter time.
Oh, okay.
All the
Yeah.
But I could hear all the AC units, and it was very quiet for the first time in New Orleans. And I had been there for about 7-8 months. And Pay Your Homage was like something that I wrote in 2 minutes, and it wasn't. It felt like the spirit of New Orleans. That's what I told myself when I was under the influence. It was like the spirit of New Orleans. But
It's a beautiful song, man.
Creativity's there, man.
Yeah. 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 So I can edit out anything you don't want me to air, but I'd love to kind of ask about how things are going with you at home, man.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I'm gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a baby. Well, I mean, not me, but
Yeah.
It came from your balls, bro. That's definitely your baby. Yeah.
I did the easy part. But yeah, man.
But I mean, it's already starting to kind of change you a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure you're gearing up. I mean, you've kind of got like a 9-month window to really like gear up for dad mode.
Yeah, everything that I do is going to be very different. And I don't know exactly how it looks, and I'm just trying to be as open to anything as possible. You know, like, this has been my main income because I didn't have a lot of bills. John Craigie has a song. He says, "They tell you your dream job won't pay your bills. I didn't change my dream. I just changed my bills." I like that. And that's kind of what I did with my life. I organized it to where I didn't have to pay that much. So this worked out, but security is a thing. So it's going to look different, but I'm here for it, man.
Yeah. Well, kind of how I mentioned earlier, like, things are just kind of really smoothing out, right? That, like, for this. So I got Zach a bunch of solo shows for him, whether it's at restaurants or little places, you know, but they're paying well. And I'm like, dude, if I can keep you consistent with this, I know he's going to be set and he's not going to be stressing too much when it will get time to, like, hey, we don't have to travel too far for these bigger shows or something, you know, we can be right here. And I know he's going to be set and Emily's going to be comfortable, you know, with her being a new mom and stuff. 'Cause dude, that's scary, you know, especially if you leave home for a little bit, you know, especially traveling as a musician, you know, that whole persona as well, you know, on the road.
Yep.
But I have full faith that everything's gonna work out good, and he's gonna be a really good dad, and he's gonna have fun. And he's make some mistakes, you know, but
I need some light in my life, man. It's really easy to do the same thing over, and my life is just one big Groundhog's Day. And this is going to be something I've never done before. So
Yeah.
I think that I need that light. I prayed to God that I needed some discipline, and I was like, God, help me get some discipline. And I prayed to God, if I'm supposed to be with this woman, I need a clear and direct sign, because I'm really bad at picking up on things. And 2 weeks after, she's calling me, telling me she's pregnant, and I was like, take another test. Take another test. I really was making sure, but we got the ultrasounds today, actually. So and my dad actually was like, "You're gonna be writing some really beautiful music because it's finally gonna be coming from your heart," and I really like that.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful, man. And like Hunter, I'm sure you can attest to that too. But like some sense of purpose, I'm guessing, and like how psychedelic it is that some life just got made that wasn't there before, and it's like that's so magic and so mind blowing. Like you did that.
Man, I think all my life as a musician, I've been waiting on a call, and maybe that's not something I've ever said out loud, but I'm waiting for something like a deal or a label or whatever it is that you're waiting for. And I thought that was going to be the thing that satisfies me, and God has a way of humbling you, and I feel like I'm not saying that stuff won't happen or whatever, but that's not the end all be all about life, man.
Yeah.
And I think I needed that lesson. I needed it now.
Yeah.
And I've always said I'm the turtle medicine. I'm gonna be slow and steady. Nothing has to change overnight anymore. When I was young, that's what I wanted. But as I get older, I'm like, I don't care what age I get to, whatever place I want to get to. I'm gonna just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
What I'm excited I want to do more, take stuff on the road, and I have a bunch of support from Emily. I have a bunch of support from family and from a lot of friends in my life that are like, music is not going anywhere. Because that was my main, maybe it's selfish, but as soon as I found this out, I was like, can I do this?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you'd be an idiot if you didn't.
Yeah.
And I think I needed to have that support.
Yeah.
And I like how Nate Fredericks and the Wholesome Boys,
yeah.
Nick Parr and the Selfless Lovers. I've been getting some beautiful new friendships and examples of like how to make this streamline efficiency a little bit. And I want to do more like, and maybe it's with multiple projects, but I want to do more 10-day runs and more like, you're going to go do it on the road for 10 days, but you're going to walk away with $4,000 in your pocket. And then you're going to not have to work for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. You could just chill at the house with your baby.
Yeah.
And I already got support from the wife. I'm not saying it right. I called her my wife. No, it's just happening.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna happen right away. I'm gonna take some time off to be with that child. And be present, because I know mom's got to be conscious for that baby for a long time, and I'm gonna be there for her. But that's where I see it going. Is like 10 days on, 10 days off, like we work in oil or something. Pipelining or something.
It's totally doable as long as communication is there, and you know that they're good, and they know that you got me if something goes wrong. It's pretty smooth, man. And I mean, I'm still learning too, but it's for sure communication, and as long as you keep it up, you'll be all right.
And I don't know if the industry's changing, but I see more bands doing like tours that are still spaced out, where it's like Thursday through Sunday they're playing, and then they maybe go home for like 4 or 5 days and then go back out and do like a 5-day run, and then they go back home. But that's where I see it, because I want to take the emphasis off of Lafayette and make it count when we play here, and make this even more of a thing while keeping the heart into it, because the pressure's on. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So, I mean, that's beautiful, man, because I kind of had a feeling like that. Like, I got out of a relationship and then went on the road with Justin and did these big tours and stuff. And I was like, I felt like I lost something I cared about deeply to go do this music thing, which I still cared about, but I didn't have someone to do it for or with. And it was like, I was like, and I didn't like who I was around so much. So I just felt like I was making myself miserable, but I'm glad that you've got the foundation, you've got the people you like, you got a support system, you've got, I think you still got a lot of gifts you gotta give these people, man. People would be really missing out if they didn't hear your music. So I'm glad to hear that it's still gonna happen.
It's just gonna be in a different way, and that's okay.
But you'll find so much happiness from other sources from this. It's like. And that's what I'm getting at too, is just like, now I've got a girlfriend too, and it's just like we're, navigating our own career. She's got a career too, and like there's definitely going to be time apart and time that we're going to have to communicate real good, because if, she's doing this tattoo thing and I'm doing music, we'll definitely be keeping our head down for a while, but, gives me some faith,
Yeah, man.
See that it's still possible.
No, your life doesn't. That's one thing I constantly have to remind myself, is that my life doesn't have to look like anybody else's.
Yeah.
To I don't know. There's so much stigma behind what it means to be a musician.
Sure.
And what your lifestyle looks like, and it's party and unhealthy and late night. No, man. Like I'm mostly just doing heavy lifting and going to bed late. Like that's I don't know, but. It just doesn't have to look like anything else. And once I've accepted that, it's a lot easier to find happiness in it. I'm ready to see where it evolves.
Sweet, man.
It's a little baby.
Yeah.
And I might be teaching him music too.
Yeah. Watch out. This kid's be like a super prodigy, like just surpass you in all everything you've ever done.
We'll see. And he'll either want to do what I do, or he'll want nothing to do with it. It's one or the other, man. That's what it seems.
Yeah, man.
Kids love music, man. My kids, dude, man, they Parker, my oldest, he was with my mom the other day, and he was like, "Hey, I want to listen to music." And she's like, "Okay, what you want to listen to?" She's like, "I want to listen to what my dad listens to." And she's like, "Well, what is that?" He's like, "Well, his music, you know." So she's going like on Spotify and, you know, trying to find his stuff. So she finds it, man. He's tapping his hands and stuff, bobbing his head, and he's getting into it. And he loves it, but like he's not real big into like playing it. You know, he wants to play drums, but like his attention span is all over. Now my youngest dude, he'll set up the living room, and he's only 3, and like he'll get on his little stool and he'll have drumsticks, and man, he's banging. He's rocking out and stuff, you know, and it's all nonsense, but he's into it, you know, and he has his own stash of drumsticks and stuff, and so I don't know what, I'm just kind of letting them do their thing, you know. I mean, I don't want to push anything on them, you know. So if one day they're like, "Daddy, teach me," you know, yeah, dude, whatever you want to know, man. Whatever, you know.
Of course.
You know, I didn't have any musical background growing up. I had some uncles and stuff that played, but
Me neither.
nobody in my family. My mom, she's a phenomenal dancer. You know, she loves Zydeco and Cajun French music. You know, she loves to dance. But as for that, nobody in my immediate family plays anything. So I think it's cool to see where it's going to go with my generation after me and so forth, if they stick it out or not.
That's why I was drawn to Louisiana. It's because every family's ready for a party at the drop of the hat, and they all play music. Like all of a sudden, there's all these people with guitars, and I'm like, where'd y'all come from? Yeah. I love it, man. My friend's family built a bar just so they could play in. Like they built it looks like a legit venue,
Oh,
and it's just for their family to play in when they get together. Like
That's cool, man.
I think that's a cool thing too. Like there's so many people in Louisiana that play music but don't play professionally. True. But they're really, really good. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Why are you hiding this talent? You know, like you could be, it's not my thing, man. And I'm like,
yeah.
You know, maybe they might have did it later on, you know, in life or earlier in life, you know, and it's not their thing, the whole bar scene, you know. But it blows my mind that, you know, I meet some people and I'm like, whoa, you can play, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, dang, man. Thank y'all for coming in today, man. I had a great time, man. I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, keep on doing y'all's thing, because I love what y'all doing, man. And I think a lot of people will be catching on to it pretty soon.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Same goes to you, my brother.
Cool, man. Thank y'all for coming.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
That's good, dude.